Alright, hello Minecrafters and Infotechers. So I have a interesting video today. We're going to start with heavy oil. Now this video is going to be about the large distillery, the really big one. So I'm going to get 10 heavy oil. Now you'll notice that that's a minuscule amount compared to what I pumped with just a little bit of biogas. I'm able to pump a really stupid amount of oil with that thing. Off something that produces about 480 or so oil per tick. And now normally I was taking these barrels, I was slapping them on here, the advanced distillery, which would take the heavy oil, turn it to normal oil. Normal oil would be turned to sulfuric light fuel. Take the sulfur out, and then there's the advanced chemical reactor, which would mix it with glycerol trinitrate. 4 of these with one of these gives you 5-nitrodiesel, which is a very, very, very capable fuel. Now, you'll notice I made a slight adjustment. I moved everything down here and left a gap where I put a fluid conduit. The reason I did that is, and I also have a tap up here now as well, I'm going to be getting access to lots of sulfuric light fuel out of another source instead of running it through all this garbage. I'm also going to be able to get a hold of straight light fuel without the sulfur. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And we're going to be doing that using this guy right here. So, this is the Distillation Tower. This is what you've all been waiting for. So the Distillation Tower, I'm not going to go into how to build it. It's all in the book. You know how to build it. I will go ahead and tell you that the amount of stainless steel that you have to put in this will probably make you cry. I know it made me cry when I saw how much I was going to need. It took hundreds and hundreds of stainless steel to build this guy. It is just... Yes, but once you build it, though, it is so worth the effort for having built it. Like many of the very more expensive machines, it is just totally, totally worth the effort. So, outputs. We have an output bus. We're just going to output I think the only thing that comes out of this, and only under certain recipes, is going to be coal dust. And it's hydrated coal dust, but you can put all that, it's a small hydrated coal dust, you can put all that together and you can cook it, and we'll show you how to deal with that one a little bit. The output bus, I would make sure there's one that can hold a decent amount of stuff. So, you're going to need at least a gold chest and some kind of one of those little conveyor belt guys to push all that stuff into the chest. You're going to need a gold chest at the minimum. Depends on how much of stuff you're running through it, but it will produce a really, really, really large amount of this stuff. The coal dust, at this point, eye diamonds probably aren't even that big of a need for you anymore. You can turn them into diamonds if you want, or you can go over and burn them for steam and get more power out of them. I tend to burn what I get because I can use it to process some other things. These guys here, I put pipes on the end of them, so that way I could attach several barrels around the pipes, because I can put a barrel on each side of these pipes as well. That way I don't lose any outputs. I want to be making a small run here. I'm doing 10,000 so that we can kind of do the math here. I've already written down the amounts that are on these two here. These 2 drums are empty, but that way we can find out just what kind of amount of stuff you're going to get out of 10k heavy oil. Let me go over the recipes real fast. So let's see. Put the heavy oil in there. Now I want to point out something about the Distillation Tower. You can make quite a few things out of it. Sorry, I got a little bit of cat noises here. There's a kitty down here who's making a little hyper today, aren't you? Alright, so you can see that, we're not going to get into cracked heavy fuel yet. Most stuff requires medium voltage, and when the book has you build it, it tells you to build a medium voltage one. Well, that's well and good if you're using anything other than heavy oil. If you're using heavy oil, guess what? You need to have high voltage to do that. My suggestion to power that is going to be a turbo diesel generator using nitro diesel. This will get you very far. So you're going to get very, very far with that. I'm not going to have any real problems. Back to the heavy oil, back to this, back to this. You can crack a few other things with this stuff. Creosote can be made into lubricant. Seed oil can be made into lubricant. Fish oil as well. industrial biomass can be turned into biogas, water, and fertilizer. Don't know how much that's worth doing. Biomass can be made into ethanol. There's not much else you can really do with this guy. I will say that biomass takes high voltage as well. But you can put light oil in and get lots of sulfuric gas, which can be turned into liquid propane, which is a decent fuel. Let's see, but the big thing I want to do here is I want to take heavy oil. Let me find the recipe for this guy. So looking at your recipe chart here, the first block here is actually the chest at the very bottom. From there, it goes to the starting points at the top. So this is position 6, assuming 6 is the bottom, 1's the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if there's a blank, that means you're actually going to have the top one. I guess how you count this depends on if you have any blanks. I've got 2 blanks here. That means I'm at the top. It's actually going to start with the sulfuric gas here instead of the one at the very top. It's kind of weird how it does it, but it's kind of weird. But after a while, you'll figure out how to read the thing. That's why it's good to have a nice MB buffer here. That'll store up enough stuff so that you can run and grab barrels and throw them on here before it starts overwriting things. This one will overwrite things just like a lot of the other things, like the blast furnace, for example. When it's running, it will overwrite anything in its buffer, so you need a way to, push things into a chest. Alright, come on, kitty. Yeah, he's being a little guy today. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw this stuff in. Oh, yeah, you will need a plunger. Because we're going to have to take that heavy fuel and we're going to have to kind of uncrack it here. Or we're going to crack it here, but sometimes you get a little bit of leftovers. Let's throw all this stuff in. There's 10,000. Now that'll get 100% used up. And that's going to start producing heavy fuel, light fuel. Now this is the sulfurized version, so that means you're going to have to deal with the fact that these have sulfur on them, and you have to take the sulfur out. You have to use your chemical reactor for that. Now the beauty of the sulfuric light fuel is I can stick that right into in near the middle of my nitrodiesel production scheme, and it will turn that straight into it'll go ahead and strip the sulfur off and turn that into nitrodiesel for me. A sulfuric heavy fuel, on the other hand, you're going to have to do a little bit more work on this. So we will get to work on that in just a moment here. I'm actually going to show you how this thing and the oil cracking unit work together in as a nice tight unit. So I'm just going to let this guy process. And by using 10,000, we can just multiply. If you have 100,000 instead, we'll be able to tell what 100,000 would get you, or 200,000. But anyway, let's see what we got here. 4,600. I guess while we're letting that run, you're going to probably wonder, what am I going to do with some of these outputs that come out? The naphtha, obviously, you can turn into plastic, among maybe a few other things. But you can also, if you take the sulfur out, use it in the advanced gas turbine, and it's actually a very capable fuel. If you go here to the naphtha, I don't want the sulfuric, I want this stuff. You want the cell. If you right-click the cell, it'll produce as much power as the liquid propane gas. Liquid propane gas and the gas turbine will produce just as much. So you're actually getting just as much power as you do out of the liquid propane gas, which makes this a very capable fuel. And you're probably going to get a good chunk of it here. You'll see I already have some naphtha over here as well, the non-sulfured kind. And let's see how we doing here. Oh, good. Down to 400, 300, 200, 100, and scratch. So let it finish pumping the last of it. And as you can see, you got a nice neat amount here. I got 4,500 of this. So I'm going to write that down. $4,500 for the light, sulfuric heavy. $25,000. I'll have to do a little math here. So let's see what we got for the naphtha. I have 19005. Subtracting. We got 1,500. So not an awful lot of that. And the gas, I've got 54,540. Hang on, what do I have again? Is it 54,540? 54,540 minus 8,540 equals 6,000. So pretty good amounts there of that. So now what I can do is I can take my the sulfuric light fuel. I'm going to go ahead and just dump this into the stage right here. As you can see, I can put this, near the lower middle end of the thing here. If I get light fuel, I can actually drop it straight into the end stage. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and empty this barrel out, because I won't need an empty barrel. I'm going to take the sulfuric heavy fuel. So now the sulfuric heavy fuel, first thing we need to do is get all this sulfur out of it. And what a pain in the butt that is. So we grab some cells. I already had some in here left over from last time, but we're going to need hydrogen and an empty cell to do this. So that empty cell or hydrogen. Looks like it processes at 4,000 at a time. I'll show you what to do with the hydrogen sulfide as well. So I'm just going to put through Alright, hydrogen. Let's get a bunch of these. There's my hydrogen. A few empty cells. So I'm getting heavy fuel. I need to get a barrel to capture this. We definitely want to unhook this from any other barrel, so you don't lose anything. Okay, that's got 2,000 left. I'm just going to leave it in there. So let's dump this in. So we're going to have 1,000 left over from that we can't really do anything with. We can really save it for another round. So I'm going to put that over here. Pop off this empty drum here. Let's see, there's just excess hydrogen back here. Need the cell anymore. What I'm going to do is the hydrogen sulfide. I have another video on how to make the a machine that will basically take the hydrogen sulfide and turn it into sulfuric acid. You can actually then electrolyze that, recycle your hydrogen. I'm also going to show you how this process will produce a load of hydrogen for you as well. So we're going to go through all that. Like I said, the machine itself, there wasn't a whole lot to cover on other than, you're going to have to look at your recipes to figure out what you're getting. For your 10,000 fuel, you're going to get this out here because of the limits of how it processes. I'm going to put this barrel here. I'm going to put this one here, and it should start cracking. Now, this machine does have a little bit of I have covered it in another video, but there's two inputs you can put in here. You can put in steam, which will make it take less electricity to run. And you can also, and I have a steam here, I have one that goes out the bottom under the floor and into here. You can also put hydrogen in and greatly increase your output. Now I'm saving my hydrogen because I want to, I'm saving my hydrogen so that I have a, enough to use for cracking out tungsten. I'm going to be using a lot of hydrogen, and you don't recover your hydrogen from that. It just goes away. So I'm really going to need to save every bit I can. So I'm not going to amplify my output, but if you have a lot of hydrogen, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and check this drum on here. This thing should automatically turn on. And we're going to see how much cracked heavy fuel we're going to get from this. Now the cracked heavy fuel, we're just going to take it over and we're going to distill it a second time. And you can see up here I'm going to start draining batteries here eventually. What I can actually do is turn on a generator here and let it produce, do a run here. Just make sure you have enough steam to handle it, both the steam down here as well as the steam used to generate power. You can see the generator takes a little time to spool up to full power. It should actually start holding this almost in check with maybe just a slight loss. If you don't have the steam, though, even the generator can't stop you from slowly draining these batteries out. So I'm using the steam to make it take less power. You can see I've already emptied this barrel here. So I'm going to go ahead and recover it. You can see the liquid amounts going down nice and fast, nice and quickly here. And like I said, this is just 10,000, so this is going to scale up enormously when with the amounts of oil you're generally going to pump. Here you can see the generator's finally reached the point where it can hold this in check. I think it will still count down just a little bit, but it won't be as much. It'd be counting down very quickly right now if we didn't have the steam in there. So if you didn't have steam, you'd be paying in other currencies instead. In that case, steam turned into power. I'd rather divert a little of my steam into this. This doesn't eat a large amount, and it reduces your power output. This will be done very soon. This guy up here looks like he's holding steady. Steam amounts, we're getting low, but that's okay. Everything's running well. And it's a little boring. This is why I chose a small run, but that way we can easily scale it. But you're going to see how much fuel you're going to get for just 10,000. And keep in mind, you're going to get more than just nitro diesel out of this. You're going to get other fuels as well. So let's see what we can do. Alright, it's coming down to the end. Poof. And it's off. These are now charging back up. I'm just going to let the steam run out there. And we got, I'll write this down. Cracked heavy, we got 3,904. I'll make a note on here that says steam, knowing that I used steam to do that. So you can see this guy's almost charged up. I'll go ahead and shut this off. Everything's charged up nicely. I'm out of steam anyway, so who cares? Alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to input cracked heavy fuel. So we got to knock these barrels out. And I have written down what I had in before. In the, let's see, move the cracked heavy over here. I'm going to put you over here. Sulfuric, everything goes over here. I'll try to line all everything up here, keep everything nice and neat. I need this drum. I need this drum and this drum. So now we gotta look up your cracked heavy fuel. What you want to do is look up what that's going to do in the distillation tower. This is going to go on the bottom. This is going to go at the very tip top. And the lubricant's going to be at the bottom. So now it's running from lightest to heaviest. So you know this is going to be at the very top. second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position. This is sixth position. Because it's everything's being produced, you now know how to calculate all that. So, let's see. Let's start with the bottom here. That's going to be lubricant. Lubricant's useful. I do have a machine that shows you that I use to make creosote into lubricant, which is made into drilling fluid. But I'm not going to cover that right now. I believe I have another video for that as well. Let's see. I think toluene is next. Toluene. This is going to give you light fuel here. This is going to give you naphtha. And this is going to give you... Ooh, find the drums. Let's see. I've got to have another drum around this place somewhere. Surely I have some drums sitting around this silly place. You can't tell me I don't have a drum. That's no fun. I really don't want to have to go make a drum. Well, what I could... that's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh. You know what? I'm just going to borrow this drum. Normally I should have everything prepared. You're going to have to make lots of drums. I would make probably 20 drums just for this, just to keep around here. That's going to be my gas that's going to come out. So let's go ahead and dump this in and get it started. Okay, it should come on automatically. We'll get lubricant, toluene, light fuel, naphtha, and refinery gas. So let's see what kind of amounts we get here. Like I said, I'll be able to recover my drums pretty quickly here. So we're gonna let this go in. Now you saw we got a lot more cracked fuel than we did. Then we had to put in heavy fuel. So that's, and I could have made that even better with hydrogen, but I didn't want to waste it. I don't have hydrogen to waste at the moment. I have to save it. So I'm not going to have the numbers for hydrogen with that. That'll be an exercise for you, the player. You can see I'm getting very nice amounts of refinery gas and light fuel, lubricant. Well, the lubricant, what I'm doing with that is I'm going over to my cutting machine and I'm just putting it in there. I actually turned off the water tap and I'm letting it use lubricant now, since I'm producing plenty of that. You're not going to produce very large amounts of it. Enough to be dangerous. Alright, this barrel here. Well, that's finishing off here. I'm going to go put this back over here so I don't forget. Because I'm going to have plenty of sulfuric acid and such to go with. Let's plunger away. I don't want to accidentally plunge anything and ruin anything. Now, let's see. They're going to let this guy run to completion. Okay, yeah, a little boring here, but I guess while we're doing that, I can talk a little bit about what I can do with some of the outputs here. With the refinery gas, you can turn into both methane and liquid propane. Liquid propane, save for things like your advanced miner 2, for example. I would definitely save it for that. I've been using biogas to run it, but now I can put the liquid propane in and get a lot more bang for my buck. It does a decent job running the blast furnace as well, but I'm going to do a quick check over here. Make sure my nitro diesel's looking good. I'm actually just burning up a load of scrap aluminum powder that I don't need at the moment. Looks like we're finished over here now. There was 4 left. I'm just going to plunge that out of there because, I mean, really, who cares? Right. So, the lubricant. Let's figure out how much we got of each. So, I'm going to write these down. So, I'm going to write gas equals... Let's see, nap. I'm just going to call it nap. equals light equals heavy. Oops, toluene equals lube equals and dust equals. Now the dusts, let's start with the dusts. So you got these tiny hydrated coal dusts out. I've actually got a little trick here for crushing these up quickly, which is just use one of these guys here. You can quickly convert that into the amount you need here. 40. So we got 40 of these. So that's, and what you can do is you can put them in here. Water out. Just pure coal dust. You can diamond burn. You can burn that to make more steam. The process I just did here. You saw the large amounts of it. Now you can see that I have a gold chest too. In fact, I probably have to upgrade it to diamond. If you're running through like 256 heavy oil, or cranked heavy fuel, you're almost certainly going to completely fill this chest up. So, but the good news is you can turn all that into extra power. So, like dusts, like 40. Dusts. So now let's go for the lubricants. So 475. 1,845. Not a lot, but it doesn't. You don't tend to have to use a lot either. Toluene, we had an empty drum, so you get 10770 out of that. Light fuel, which was also empty, you get 14360 out of it. Coming up here, then to the naphtha. I have to sort of subtraction again on that. So let's see, let me get the number off of that. 47,570. 47,570. I'm going to subtract the amount I had in there before, and that gives me 3590. And then the gas, we had a nice empty drum for that, so we got 28,720 refinery gas. So, fun times. Now, here's an interesting fact. Toluene, let's say you don't have any explosives to make, and I don't really have any explosives to make, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the light fuel drum right here. I'm going to run up here and place my toluene on here with a circuit of one, the advanced distillery. We'll take that toluene and turn it straight into light fuel, which means the toluene, and it's a 1-to-1, it's 1-to-1 basically, 30 to 30. So, yeah, 1-to-1 ratio conversion. So we're not losing really anything by doing this, other than whatever power it takes to do this, which isn't much. So we're going to get plenty of toluene out of this. Quite a bit of this light fuel will be able to turn straight into diesel. For every 4, you're going to get an extra 1. But while that's doing its thing, I'm going to take the refinery gas. And this isn't even including what I've still got that's locked up with sulfur. This is just what I've got here. I'm going to drop that in there. I'm going to get some cells. Hey, shh, kitty, quiet. Yeah, he's being... I think he's bored. He's got someone to play with him, though. Alright, so you're producing methane, getting rid of refinery gas. You just centrifuge it. All you gotta do. Beautiful. I got 15 liquid propane out of that. So that's actually 15,000. And I got some of them. I got the same in methane. So you can kind of see the outputs here. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to store it. I could put some automation in that would, you know, flip these guys around. Now the methane, I'm going to show you what we can do with that. Oh yeah, so our toluene's done. Our toluene is done. Recovered an empty barrel off of that. Nice recovery of an empty barrel off of that. Now the methane I've got here is actually combined of both last run and this run. So the methane, though, the fun thing you can do with that is for every 5 that you have, you can just pump it in here. The electrolyzer, and bam, hydrogen. So 1500 would have given us 12 hydrogen. I put a little elastrin in there too. We got some carbon out of it. Carbon is always very useful. It's good for cracking up ilmenite, and it's used for all kinds of things. So you got a nice big run of that. Yeah, this is a good way to get lots of hydrogen, and you're going to need all the hydrogen you can get your hands on for tungsten. Or you can use it to increase your output on the cracking. So that's another thing to think about. Some of that hydrogen could have been used for that purpose as well. I got a little bit of methane left. I'm just going to put it back on the end of this thing here. Next time I do a run, I'll have a little more. You can see the nitrodiesel powered this without really breaking a sweat. Lubricant. I'm just going to stick this guy over here. The naphtha, very capable fuel. Each 1 liter of this will produce 256 EU. That's assuming you're getting 100% conversion. So we had 47. Well, let's see what this thing produced. For the naphtha, the sulfuric, I got 1500, assuming we crack the sulfur out of that, plus the 3,950. Take that times 256,000, and we get over 130 million EU. 130 million electric units, assuming 100% efficiency, is going to be produced just from the naphtha alone. And that was just from 10,000 heavy oil. You can imagine what 100,000 would give you. Now you can see we're really truly playing with power now. Let's see. The nitrodiesel. And the generator gives you 512. You get twice the power from nitrodiesel that you do from natural gas and that you're going to get from natural gas and from and whatnot. Now, automating all this would be a nightmare. I mean, you could probably work out something. You could have to get your oil cracker and this distillation tower near each other. You need a good steady power source for both of them. Nitrodiesel would probably certainly handle it, no problem. And then maybe you could even have a nitrodiesel production facility nearby. You could probably do some more automation to just throw a barrel of oil in, and you know, all that crap gets processed down into what you need, including excess hydrogen. But for right now, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take our light fuel here. Remember, for every 4,000 of this, that would give me 6 times 5. That gives me 30,000 nitrodiesel. Let's do a calculation on that. So 30 times 256 produces a large amount of EU as well. 7.68 million. Seems like we did better with the well, I'm gonna go ahead and pump that in. The glycerol trinitrate, processed. We're gonna make some nitrodiesel. But this will make a large amount. just that 10,000 oil. If I put 10,000 oil through this, I wouldn't have got near as much nitro diesel. So you can see the worth of this here. This is quite worth doing. So that's pretty much all I've got for this thing. That gives you a good idea of how to use your distillation tower, as well as how it works with the fuel cracker. I know this was a very long video, but I covered quite a few topics in here, and you saw I got a very large load of useful products out of this. You know, all the various stuff here. I haven't even bothered to crack the sulfur out of this garbage here and use it. So, like I said, these numbers on the screen aren't necessarily representative because they're cumulative from several runs I've done. I did a few trial runs to make this video. A couple times I made it too long. I don't want to make this much longer here, so thank you for watching. You know, feel free to subscribe. Doing Minecraft, I have some other ideas for some other stuff I might do for gaming in the future as well. So anyway, thank you for watching.